Another successful landing. What if I were to tell you something as stupid and crazy as there's going to be a new translation from the Aramaic of the sayings of Jesus, and the translation is going to be done by a Satanist? Well, I'm not interested in religion, by the way. You would say, even if you were not religious at all, you would say, well, that seems kind of stupid. Probably the translations wouldn't be very good. Or purposefully, turned around and so on and so forth. Really, it's not far removed when we're talking about academic translations of Pali. And as a translator, academic translations of Pali, Sanskrit, and ancient Greek, classical Greek. One of literally the most prolific ancient Greek translator who translated countless, literally countless thousands and thousands, literally, like the list goes on and on and on, of thick tomes of ancient Greek from Aristotle, Plato, Iamblichus, Proclus, Numenius, Syrianus, Plotinus, Porphyry, on and on and on. He himself was a Platonist. He died, I think, in 1835. His name is Thomas Taylor. The only work of his that I know of that he didn't complete, because it's that tough, is the works of Plotinus, and here it is. The real translations of Plotinus would be about like that thick, so the 9 Enneads of Plotinus, that being. So this is a portion, but it's the best, even though it's highly incomplete. Him and his wife spoke almost entirely in classical Greek. Fascinating, huh? He's an Englishman. Brilliant person. He had it within him not to translate, but to comprehend and understand, because he was a Platonist. Okay? You would not want, desire, or even be interested in like an Aramaic translation from somebody who's not only part and parcel of it, they're impartial. Impartiality is good in a lot of stuff. It is not good when it comes to translating metaphysical texts. Academicians, we know, when the clock hits 5 or whenever they go home, they put it down and they go home. They don't, no matter how well versed they are or how many PhDs they have hanging on the wall, their translations are garbage. There are literally thousands and thousands, almost nearly, actually essentially all, basically all translations are like, this is the reason why in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics is not the lingua franca of the folk of the land. It was a priestly language. It was a priestly language of symbolic metaphysics. This is the reason why all ancient Egyptian translations sound nonsensical. They sound like garbage, because they are. They're done by academicians. And accuracy is a good thing, and having a lot of knowledge is extremely good, but that's not wisdom, it's not insight, it's not understanding. Thomas Taylor's translations, not only was he the most prolific ancient Greek translator, he's also, too, the most accurate, because he himself was a Platonist. This is the second most prolific, and he's dead now. If he wasn't dead right now, I'd probably call him up and chew his ear off. He's dead. This is A.H. Armstrong. This is his translation of the Enneads. This is in 7 books. I think I got 3 copies of this. The Greeks on one side, they're horrible. They're clinical, they're accurate. About 15-20% of the time, it's nonsensical. You know, the great thing about these books, the only great thing about these books, is we have the original Greek over here, then we have this horrific translation over here. So it's fascinating for me to go back and go, oh my God, that's just stupid. That's not what that says. You know, and I underline stuff here. Well, highlighter, actually, I used highlighter. It's horrible. That's not what that says. You know, that's nonsensical. He also, too, written articles on emanationism. which is you can say the religion, it's the metaphysics of the Neoplatonists, the Pythagoreans, and also to the Platonists, actually, for that. Doesn't understand it at all. This is his book, Architecture of the Intelligible Universe and the Philosophy of Plotinus, or Plotinus. I like to say Plotinus because I always have. It's garbage. It's nonsense. He doesn't understand the one. He doesn't understand via negativa. He himself admits he doesn't understand it. He even says, various places, this seems contradictory. This doesn't make sense. It's like, no, you don't understand it. This is the stuff that people go to. And they're clinical. They can at times be quite accurate, but they completely miss the point. The author is not in that. You have to have a passion for something. In other words, you eat it, you sleep it, you breathe it, it becomes second nature to you and what you are. It becomes a part of who you are. Academicians and academia, it's not like that. They generate paper, they regurgitate logomachy, means spitting out words. Their translations are silly. Nobody can get anything from it. There's a reason why the stuff from like Thomas Taylor or Algius Udovinus, who's dead, like Philosophy is a Right of Rebirth, a true metaphysician, a true Pali translator, someone who was a believer of the original, and also too the most prolific ancient Pali translator. Well, there's someone that surpassed her now, Bhikkhu Bodhi, but he's a soul-denying nihilist. Was Caroline Augustus Foley Rees-Davis, one of the co-founders of the Polytext Society. I'm a member of the Polytext Society. At least I was. I think my membership was gone the way of the dodo because they don't do anything anymore. Someone that truly had a passion. Now, I don't mean a passion for translating, but a passion of the subject. It became who and what they are. It's kind of like people, you know, when you attack someone's silly belief systems, they think you're attacking them. Well, that, of course, is the source for most of the world's strife, as people think they are their beliefs, and of course they're not. But it means that they've become inseparably one entity. That, of course, that's where someone hitches their wagon to some form of religious nonsense or whatever, and I'm not interested in that. I don't care what anybody believes or cleaves to, but there's a reason why I get so many hundreds of emails. I do. Oh my gosh, thank you. I've been looking at all the books on this subject, and everything in the bookstore and Amazon is garbage, and you showed me the real stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such an awakening. I finally understand. No books that are that high a quality of nature are written by these academic stooges. They're not. They are not. They never are. Never are. There's a reason for that, and it is abundantly clear why it is not. It would be like a militant hardcore atheist, you know, trying to translate Aramaic and Greek and you know, do a new translation of the Old and New Testament. It would be, who would want to read that? It's like, I'm not going to read that. That guy has no passion for it. Not only has no passion for it, he's not part of it. All the soul of what the meaning, and of course it's not about the translation so much, which it is, kind of, but it's about the meaning. If you can't get the meaning across, your translation might be highly accurate, but it is empty. Because there's a lot of ancient Greek and Pali terms, I could tell you what, there's no translation for, like samma, oh Lord, on and on, nous, euristos dias, there is no single, it's just, you have to give like a half-page answer to what that term actually means, and then you have to explain it. But that's an advanced form of metaphysical language, and it's a language of metaphysics. It is not a worldly language. And by worldly, I mean existential or empirical or conventional. It is a language of metaphysics, which is, it is trans-empirical. And that's the reason why these academic books are trash. They are. I've spent decades of my life looking for the best of the best of the best, and I found it. I found thousands of them, and people are surprised at the stuff that they ask questions on a certain subject that I know the best sources on. Anyway, I wanted to make a video about that because it's actually quite important. As a translator, I get so disgusted with these disgusting clinical, here's a great example. I bookmarked all these highlights of how horrible this text is, just full of errors. Like, it's not what it says. These books are terrible. Life is too short to read trash. And all translations of metaphysical texts by academicians are trash. That's not my opinion, that's a fact. Life's too short to read trash. Anyway, I hope you liked this video, but if not, that's okay too. Have a good one. Goodbye. I'm heading to Florida in a few days. And it'll be nice and warm down there, thank God. Goodbye.